Yeah, Heather, earlier this afternoon I spoke with the mother of fallen officer John Burnett, who said while the conclusion of the trial ends a long and often painful chapter, it will never bring back the loved ones who died while trying to protect their community.
I really didn't learn or know as much about what my son did on the force until after he died.
Trisha Norkett reflects at the police memorial, where her son John Burnett and other CMPD officers are honored for their sacrifice wearing the badge. Norkett can relate firsthand to the emotional roller coaster being played out next door at the courthouse.
If they have moved forward in their grief process, there's always grief that comes with the trial process.
Nearly 3.5 years after Officers Sean Clark and Jeff Sheldon were shot and killed on duty in East Charlotte, a jury verdict could be reached Thursday for the man accused of killing both men, Dimitri Montgomery.
You're helpless. You're just waiting for a verdict to come that you have no control over.
Norkett said she remembered feeling terrified and uncertain before the verdict was read in the case of her son and fellow officer Andy Nobles, who was also killed in October 1993 in West Charlotte.
We were concerned that one would get one verdict and one would get another verdict.
Instead, Alden Hardin, now 49, was sentenced to death in 1994 for killing both officers.
The man that murdered my son will never be on the streets again, and he will never harm anybody ever again.
Hardin remains on death row, his final sentence uncertain since the state currently has a moratorium on executions. Norkett also cautioned that no matter what verdict is reached, this life-altering night in 2007 for Clark and Sheldon's families will never be reversed.
There is no closure. And the media uses that word a lot, and other people use it a lot, and I always correct them about it.
Well, Heather, depending on your viewpoint, this motion either raises some serious red flags on NASCAR's integrity and its relationship to certain drivers, or as one NASCAR official put it, this document is nothing more than cooked up lies by a suspended driver on the outside looking in.
Suspended NASCAR driver Jeremy Mayfield's year-and-a-half legal drama off the track took another sharp turn this week when his attorneys filed a new motion packed with explosive new allegations. Among the defendants are NASCAR and its CEO Brian France. The suit, obtained by News 14 Carolina, claims France intended to destroy Mayfield's racing career by manipulating at least one competition, specifically the 2006 All-State 400 in Indianapolis. Vincent Garcia, France's former father-in-law, claims in the motion that during that race he witnessed France drinking scotch and calling NASCAR President Mike Helton at the track. Garcia says during that call, France referenced Mayfield's number 19 car and said, "I don't care what you do, but fix it." Mayfield's car was black flagged during that race. He didn't finish and came in 41st. Only 2 drivers finished worse. NASCAR officials say Mayfield's latest motion is full of baseless allegations. In an email, NASCAR spokesperson Ramsey Poston wrote, "Mayfield's claims are blatantly false and Jeremy and his lawyers know it. No matter what mud is thrown, the case remains about Jeremy Mayfield and the fact that he tested positive multiple times for use of high levels of methamphetamines." Mayfield's attorney's latest motion is an attempt for a federal judge to reconsider the May dismissal of his lawsuit against NASCAR, which could have reinstated the 41-year-old driver to compete again. Any fallout from the latest allegations, meanwhile, remain to be seen.
And one of Mayfield's attorneys said he's hopeful the judge will rule on this latest motion within a month. If the case is reopened, an NASCAR official told me he is confident that they do have the evidence to prove that the claims in this motion are false. Reporting live at the NASCAR Plaza in Uptown Charlotte, Brad Broders, News 14, Carolina.
It's not a good situation.
Bobby DeRosa can sense the difference before he even gets on his boat.
My dock is dropped, and I have to jump down on it now.
The late summer's relentless sun and lack of rain has dried up Lake Norman's beach accesses, revealing banks normally underwater and making life a lot more tricky for boaters getting around.
In my cove, there's quite a few. I mean, it's low. It's kind of borderline dangerous.
As of Thursday evening, Lake Norman was 2.5 feet below normal pond and 4.5 feet below full pond.
We're watching conditions. We're watching lake levels very, very closely. We're encouraging folks to save water.
The Charlotte region hasn't had a soaking rain since this one August 19th. causing the Catawba River Basin to remain in a drought watch.
Depending on where we go with the drought, there are steps that we can take to reduce the amount of hydroelectric generation that's being passed. There are steps to impose voluntary water restrictions.
But there is one positive to the dry weather, especially with the annual Lake Norman cleanup next weekend.
Just a couple of feet difference at the lake level makes a dramatic difference in what you're able to drag up from right under the lake surface.
Things could change, though. Meteorologists say there's an increased chance for rain through much of next week, which could help reverse the falling lake levels.
We need this rain terribly bad.
Any rain is a welcome benefit.
Brad Broders, News 14, Carolina.